Have you ever gotten a bad omen from the universe and thought, whatever? Welcome to Sketch My Story. I'm Lily Fryburg, and this is my story. During college, I spent a semester studying in Italy. My friend Jess and I took a weekend trip to Cinque Terre, which means 5 lands in Italian. So naturally, there are 5 towns and people hike between them for stunning scenic views. Knowing which trails are open, however, is a challenge. Cinque Terre often experiences landslides, which shuts down random hiking trails. So because we didn't want to, end up on the news, we went through the extra effort to get an updated trail map. And once we had the map, we were ready to start a lovely 75-minute hike. The hike was beautiful and delivered the scenic views as promised, but at the 15-minute mark, things got weird. The path opened up into a road, and the trail was no more. Fun fact about me, I get lost every time I travel. Every single time. Sometimes it is my fault because my intuition is terrible. My instincts are about as good as those street palm readers who tell you you're gonna have 7 kids. But oftentimes it's just bad luck. Or possibly a curse from an evil sea witch who wants to be on American Idol. So Jess and I followed the map, walked on this road for a while, and we were relieved to find a new trail headed in the right direction. Trail 8A, yay! This trail would take us back to scenic views. Well, 10 minutes into Trail 8A, there was a tree with a small piece of paper chained to it. Now, I need to pause on this detail for a moment. This was no thin chain, like a chain necklace or a bike lock. This was a thick, heavy chain wrapped around the tree to hold up a teeny tiny piece of notebook paper, which had a hand-drawn skull and crossbones on it. I imagine some kind of Italian CrossFit fanatic hiking through the woods with heavy chains, to amp up their workout, get swole, and then they got lost, pulled out their notebook they brought to write down Thoreau-esque musings while tracking their reps, ripped off a piece of paper, drew the skull and crossbones on it, looked at the tree, thought about how to hang it up, got stumped trying to hang it up, and realized, oh right, my chains. Needless to say, Jess and I did not take this sign seriously and kept going on the trail. But then the woods became darker and the mosquitoes bit a lot harder. This is the part of the movie where the 2-dimensional friend whispers, "What's that over there?" and gets swallowed by a monster. We were climbing over fallen trees and wading through slick mud and prickly bushes, and suddenly my feet slipped off the edge of the cliff. All right, everybody calm down. Hold your gasps. I obviously survived. Anyway, I quickly grabbed onto, of course, the thorniest bush, and as I was dangling there, holding on for my life as thorns stabbed my hand, I looked down and saw this blue pickup truck in the valley below, and thought to myself, mere moments before a very serious accident, how cute is that vintage pickup truck? Wait, how did that even get down there? Uh-oh. Well, thank goodness for Jess. Here's what you need to know about Jess. First of all, she is the calmest person I know. And at the time, she was also the strongest person I know. She did handstand push-ups for fun. I tried doing them once, and I can tell you I would rather reciprocate small talk with my chatty gyno during my exam than do handstand push-ups ever again. So Jess pulls me up, and at this point, we have no choice but to continue on. The problem with the decision to continue on is that Trail 8A, much like the first trail, ended. It just ended at a few small houses and a vineyard. There's nowhere else to go, no one in sight, so we start knocking on doors, but no one answers, so we knock a little harder, quickly transitioning from knocking like polite Girl Scouts selling cookies to Scientologists trying to get you to convert. An aggressive knock, a desperate knock. About 3 hot, desperate hours later, I finally noticed a road in the distance. They say when the student is ready, the obvious will appear. 25 minutes after that, 2 Italian workers showed up in the vineyard. We made eye contact, and they pretended not to see us. Listen, I'm an overly polite person, so I didn't want to bother them, but the clock was ticking, we were on hour 5 of this hike, and my only other idea was to make a parachute out of my backpack. I only knew about 10 words in Italian, so I used 4 of them, shouting, "How we go to street?" Unfortunately, I hadn't yet learned how to say in Italian, "I am dumb American tourist." One guy nods and walks up to the top of the vineyard, opening the gates, allowing us to cut through to freedom. Grazie mille, we said, grazie mille. He nodded again and said something in Italian to his colleague, which I assume meant, "Yup, dumb American tourists." Getting lost frequently has taught me to have a sense of humor about the frustrations of life, like the job hunting process. Watch that skit on my channel here.